Privacy and security. So obviously, since COVID, this has changed quite a lot. And what we're really trying to achieve here is that you as a carrier want to reduce data loss risk, and you need regulatory compliance as that changes, whether you're from Europe with GDPR or the different services around the world. We need to start thinking about our regulatory compliance. Your customers need anti-malware, antivirus. It needs to work for them, but they actually want more privacy and security is what they actually want. So how do we take those two things and turn that into a business advantage for us? So privacy is all about perspective. So as you've probably noted, I'm not from here, but I am from the top of the world. If you look at the map in the correct orientation up there in Australia. And privacy is just somebody's viewpoint. And the interesting one from some survey data is that 84% of people say they're concerned about privacy and security, but then when you start taking them down the funnel, only 1 in 3 people actually execute that. So how do we take more people down that privacy funnel? And it changes from country to country. So some countries are very mature on security and privacy, and they will pay for a service that they believe is more secure and more private than giving their data away. So the numbers vary greatly depending on where you're from in the world today. The US is pretty much in the mid-market. You can expect about 1 in 4, 1 in 5 people will opt for a more private service that they're happy to pay a few dollars for to say, you know, this has now got this regulation requirement with it. So 3 of the examples that we use here for privacy are tracking pixels. So the logo on the left there is Facebook's privacy tracking pixel. And it's a bit of a oxymoron of privacy tracking. But what you want to have is, you know, when people actually open up an email, it says, would you like to share that information and for them to know that you're going to open that email and how many times you've opened it, that sort of stuff, or would you like to block that? Secure emails, another interesting category. Emails, as we know, are very easily to spoof and to clone and to, you know, send an email from somebody who's not really that person. How do we make that service, you know, an end-to-end encryption thing? We've seen it with the mobile apps, with WhatsApp and Signal and the like, where it is an encrypted end-to-end and you know the person on the other end is the person that you're talking to. We need to start thinking about that with email, but at the moment, once again, it's too difficult. So you have to go and get a certificate from a third party. You have to apply it to your email client. So 0.001% of the world does it. And the last one is where people, we use the same passwords. So how do we actually make sure that we're giving a good service to our customers that says, hey, that password that you're logging into your carrier email service, my private email, has been breached elsewhere because you shared the same password with another organisation. So making sure that. Now, any one of these 3 things by themselves would be a hard sell, but together as a bundle, as a privacy package that you put together that says, would you like to pay another $1 and, you know, have a more private service is certainly very achievable. Now, the jewel in the crown for this is to hide people's email addresses. So the forecast here is that in the next decade, as we move into the next generation of email, is that very few people will actually know your real email address. So you might have your personal domain, you might have your carrier-based email address, but you won't share that with a lot of people. What you'll actually use is an email relay service. Apple have jumped into this big time, as to have Mozilla. And basically you can go to a service like a Facebook, a LinkedIn, an eBay, whatever it may be, and it'll create an alias email address on the fly for you. When that service loses the farm and gets breached and all of the email addresses go out the door, obviously your email address is not gone with it, so you can keep your primary email address quite pristine. So quite likely in the future, your family and friends and close colleagues will know your real email address, and the service providers that you deal with will not. So a big opportunity there. A little bit of data here. I don't really like the data slides, but it just basically the key summary of this one is that most people are very concerned about the stuff that's in their email. Now, although carriers may have sort of continued to provide email services for free, begrudgingly because customers use it, customers are now using it more and more and more, and they're very keen on keeping that email service because it is theirs for their information. Try and live on the internet today without an email address. It's a very difficult thing. Last part of this one is the spam wars. So a wall of spam there. It's just constantly changing and moving. It's something you need to keep on top of. It's not a set and forget thing, and we've seen the game change considerably in the since COVID. It changed dramatically. The 2 things you need to make this work is you need some good technology, and you need that technology to be changing dramatically all the time. So updating it many, many times a day. And you're also going to need a team to go with it. It's not a set and forget automated service, unfortunately. We'd like email, the spam thing to just be there and work, but as you've seen from all providers, it's actually quite a difficult thing, because something that's not a problem now is now a problem because a new attack vector has just started. So making sure we're on top of that as well. So summing this one up, digital maturity is actually driving the market for this. So people who just joined the internet today, do they really care about privacy and security? Not really. People who've been on it for 10 years, maybe a little bit. People 20, 30 years, absolutely. So we need to once again target our customers and say, who are the people who actually do care about their digital identity? Private email is actually booming. We're seeing acquisitions in this space right now. There was a big one in Europe just a couple of weeks ago for that private email relay service. And they've grown from nothing to a few 100,000 customers paying $4 a month just to obfuscate their email address. So customers are willing to pay for privacy. The bundling will be the key to success on this one. How do you offer it up with some more storage, with whatever, faster plan, whatever you need to do? Once again, you have the trust advantage, the billing advantage, and the support advantage, and class of service is the enabler.